Hello, Deacon Jay.
Hello.
How's it going?
Really good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not so good.
Why?
I'm hungry.
I thought you already ate though.
How would they know I already ate?
Oh, no, it's side talk. Side talk. It's just side talk.
That's true.
Yeah.
Side talk.
Yeah,
We're
before
still
film. I mean, it's not like we.
We were filming before and then the screen stopped.
Right.
And so we talked about a bunch of this stuff already.
But like, also like, it's not like we don't talk after the.
This is like a monastery in here.
Oh.
We've gone to monastic ways here at the rectory ever since coronavirus.
Huh. Okay.
And so
Yes.
I'm hungry. And you know that because we already talked about that.
Right. Well, I'm hungry too because I didn't have anything.
I'm sorry.
What did you have?
Some Indian thing with coconut chutney.
Coconut chutney. Yes. If you know what chutney is, please tell us.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what chutney is. Because there's mango chutney
Which is delicious.
and coconut chutney.
Which is also delicious.
Yeah.
But what makes it chutney is the question.
Yeah.
Because when I thought of chutney before, I thought it was like, oh, it's like a sweet dippish kind of thing.
Right.
And now I don't think that. It was spicy and
Delicious.
but
Yeah.
very sort of delicious.
So speaking of deliciousness,
Mhm.
right? Our topic today is gluttony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a problem with gluttony.
You do.
Yeah. I really like food.
I really like food too. Is liking food gluttony?
I think that food is delicious. And you should like it.
Yeah. Having delicious food is gluttonous?
Having it? No.
No.
We all need to have food in our houses. This is why
Well, but
our
food doesn't-
closet food pantries are stockpiled with
But
macaroni and cheese.
does food has to be delicious? What is the purpose of food?
The purpose of food is to nourish us for
Okay.
survival.
Right, to keep our bodies going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the Lord in his wisdom made food delicious so that we would eat it.
Right.
If
but
it was
like there-
disgusting, why would we eat it?
I mean, there's some things that are not very good, but which is very healthy for us.
Like what?
Like celery
Oh,
sticks.
man. What, celery with peanut butter?
Yeah, but that's something you added on to make it delicious.
But I think you have to do that with a lot of things.
in itself, it's not. I don't know.
I think avocados are by themselves not very tasty. But you add a little bit of salt and pepper in there, ooh, man. And a
I mean-
bagel, and a little bit of mayo. Oh, it's so
I think-
delicious.
I think avocado by itself is delicious.
I
Those
agree.
those
I
are
think
raw.
it's so much better if
Right.
you add these other things. Like, wow, oh my
But like,
goodness.
well, why seek something like further on, like to improve it upon like the food? Well, you could just have avocado. You get the protein from that avocado anyway. You know. So why just have why?
Oh, so you're not
enhance
asking
it.
like how can you make the flavor better? You're just saying why would anyone do it if it's just for nourishment?
Yeah, just for nourishment.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say it is for nourishment, and then there's kind of the artistic side to it, where you can make things pleasing. It's almost like Adam and Eve were told to till the garden and to make it orderly. Yeah, so you can have a wild forest, but there's something beautiful about organizing it. Same thing with food. It's good on its own, but there's a way to order it in such a way that the parts come together to make a beautiful guacamole. Since we're talking about avocado.
Yeah. Guacamole.
It's delicious.
it's
Especially in the
very good.
stone bowls.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
and they make it in front of you, and you add the jalapeno peppers.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
And then
Speaking of jalapenos, yes, we're gonna be
tell them.
making some pickled dill jalapenos. Yes, very good.
Yeah, we haven't made them yet, so it could be disgusting in the
Yeah.
end. But the way
We'll
we're
find
imagining
it,
it
yeah.
seems like it's going to be delicious.
Yeah, we'll find that out next week because it takes a week.
Yeah.
To ferment.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Right,
that's what
right.
Steve said. Put it in the.
Okay. Steve. Shout out to Steve.
Yes.
Who, or I should say Steve. That's
yeah.
the way we call him. He's a good man. And he has a farm.
His family has a farm.
His family has a farm, so they used to bring these pickled peppers from Peter. Peter picked a pick up peppers.
Yeah.
Peter Piper picked a pick up peppers. But these, so we're Korean and we love spicy foods. But these were ridiculously spicy. At least the ones I had.
Oh, and it's sweet as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Is that the vinegar? What makes it sweet?
I'm not sure.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
But it was sweet along with the spicy. But man, it burned.
And it's so
burned.
good, though.
So good. So
And on
good.
Fridays, you have pizza in the seminary.
Yeah, yeah. Just slice a
bring
little bit
that
of
out.
that. So we're gonna be doing that. We also, I just recently made yogurt.
Yes.
You know, homemade yogurt was so good. I'm gonna make kombucha. I'm gonna make. I feel like there's. Oh, I've been making the bread for mass.
Right. Unleavened.
Unleavened bread. It's been awesome. It's been very insightful.
Right.
Just having to work it and then seeing what it came from and what it becomes in the oven. It really was quite cool, and I think I'm getting deeper insights into why the Lord chose that to be the way He enters into the world at body, blood, soul, and divinity. Oh, it's awesome.
We'll talk about that
Another day.
another day.
Yeah.
Maybe Friday. Yeah. All those things are food.
That's right. And all those things are good.
Yeah.
All those things nourish us and keep us at a level where we can thus do other things in life.
But when does it become gluttonous?
When it becomes that towards which we aim our lives. Yeah, I think it's when it's a disordered affection for food.
So would you say you have a disordered affection for food?
And there are times that happens.
Times that
Yeah.
have, yeah.
Yeah, and that's for food and drink. So I think those both are important to talk about. I think the most obvious example of drink would be alcohol and the effects it has on different people. For me, it makes me sleepy.
For me, it makes me ridiculously friendly and social.
I think that's one of the words. Anyway.
Yeah,
There's gluttony, and then there are what they call the daughters of gluttony. So the sins that kind of flow from gluttony. And one of them, I think the word is scurrility. There's a word scurrilous.
I've never heard of that word.
So scurra is a Latin word meaning buffoon. So by drinking a lot, you act like a buffoon.
Oh yeah, I become.
You have the buffoonery.
Yeah, I think that's my.
I just get sleepy.
Yeah, I think that's nicer.
That's nicer.
Yeah, because like I think once you had enough, your body naturally saying like okay stop, and then it kind of like goes to bed, so you can't have.
What is your body saying?
I become a buffoon.
But I wonder I wonder if there's a reason behind that. Like
maybe it's like the environment that I grew up in.
Oh.
Yeah. Because usually, when
this is almost definitely gonna be cut out. So whatever.
Just when I drank with my friends. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I think.
So okay, sure.
Yeah.
But biologically, it just makes me tired. For you, it doesn't seem like that's it.
I don't know because my parents don't drink.
Oh.
Yeah.
But my parents didn't drink.
So
they really don't like to drink.
Yeah.
My dad likes Manischewitz.
I don't know what my dad likes because he never drinks.
Your mom?
I think she likes makgeolli.
Makgeolli. My mom likes makgeolli too. I listened to a podcast on makgeolli by white people talking about how to make makgeolli.
Oh.
Is it just a bacteria on your hands that kind of make different flavors of makgeolli? It just depends on what you use. Like, who's making the makgeolli? You can get different sorts of makgeolli.
In Korea, there is a thing called, like, 손맛. It's like the taste of the hand.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah. It's
and because, mothers have that taste of the hand. So, if they're making the same thing, it will taste different. The food will taste different for each mother's. Because they have their way of kind of doing things.
Yeah.
But literally, for makgeolli, there is a taste of the hand.
Yeah, exactly. Literal taste of the hand.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So scurrility?
Scurrility. And for plural, scurrilitopodes.
Yes.
What was the phrase she used?
Octupid? Ignorant slob.
Ignorant slob. Anyone that doesn't know this is an ignorant slob.
Yeah.
But back to gluttony. Yeah, there are many daughters of gluttony, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's one example is if you drink a lot, you become scurrilous.
Yeah. And I think there's from what I understand, gluttony isn't just about eating a lot, or overeating, or like disordered love for certain kind of, for food in general, but it could be also for if you're very picky eater, like that's what it could be considered to be gluttonous as well. When you say like if you go to a friend's house for dinner and your friend made you this wonderful seafood dinner and you're like, I don't eat like seafood, so I'm not gonna have it. Right?
Yeah, I can see that being a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
And I would say that's a form of gluttony as well, because
what if it's a Friday of Lent and someone says, all right, I cooked you a steak,
and
you get to their house
out of charity, I would say. Right?
Wait a second,
right? Because St. Paul says, right, because you are strong, right? You're strong, and then some other people, those in the community might be weak, and so for the sake of the weak, right, don't eat the sacrificed meat.
I don't know. I think that's a cop-out answer. Yeah, but then you say, I'm representing the church and saying, look, we're called not to do this. So I'm not.
Okay. I think there's two different reasons why you're okay. In that reason, there's two different reasons.
Yeah.
Scenarios why you deny the food. First one is, right, fasting for the sake of the kingdom of the heaven, right? And following the prescription that the church has given you, right? No meat on Friday,
right?
And I think that is denying food because of that reason is noble and good.
Okay.
But it's like, I don't like meat.
Oh yeah, that's not what I'm. That's not the scenario at all.
Yeah.
No.
But that's two.
Yeah.
But the reaction is you deny the food. Yeah. But why you deny the food kind of changes from something noble or gluttonous.
So you go to your friend's house on a Friday of Lent, and he offers you steak, and your response is what?
Wait, Friday of Lent?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't. Oh, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Oh
okay.
No.
Okay. I don't want to mislead the people here.
I thought you meant like just Friday.
No.
Fridays
of Lent.
Yeah, Fridays of Lent. No way.
Okay,
no way, Jose.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have to cut this whole section out of the video.
Yeah.
I think gluttony properly is a disordered affection for food. Right. Or drink. So that you come to Mass and you can't stop thinking about what you're gonna eat after Mass.
Oh yeah.
I think that's probably properly gluttony,
right?
Where you can't keep your mind focused on God Himself because of bacon. Bacon is delicious.
It is. It makes
everything better.
I would say even ice cream.
Oh yeah. It gotta be candied bacon then.
I don't know, because like the
salt.
ice cream has the sweetness already.
Yeah.
So if you just have something sweet and salty, that's
warm bacon or cold bacon.
Warm bacon
on ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you have cold bacon?
What do you mean,
like room temperature?
Sure.
Okay.
But like it won't be as good.
I don't know if I've ever actually had that before. Try it. Let us know.
Yeah.
Not on a Friday of Lent.
No.
Even if your friend serves it to you.
Even your friend who's not Catholic.
Yeah, right. You just say, represent the church. Be like, look, I made this commitment.
It's
commitment.
Yeah, it's a prescription of the church.
Yeah.
So, how do you counteract gluttony? What is the virtue that goes against gluttony?
I think the virtue would be temperance.
Ooh, that's one of the 4 cardinal virtues.
That's right.
Yeah.
We finally got into them.
Yeah.
Temperance. It's the wanting, it's desiring how much is good for you.
Yeah. Desiring the right amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about extremes in one of our previous episodes. So temperance is not eating too much.
Right.
And it's not eating too little, but desiring to eat exactly what you need to eat.
Right.
And there's a thing, I think fasting is good. I think abstinence is good.
Yeah.
Because I would say we have a tendency, well, in general, there's a tendency more towards eating too much as opposed to eating too little. Unless you're a Korean mother and you don't eat anything.
Right. Or
I don't understand. I don't understand the culture because I'm not really Korean, but my mom would never eat with us. She would always serve us, and then after we were all done, then she would eat everything.
I think because Korean culture, there's a how the cooking is done. Like the food is kind of always coming
Wow.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's being prepared as you're eating. So somebody has to continue preparing.
Yeah, so that might have been the origins of it, but when your mom is sitting right next to you and like can serve and doesn't eat the galbi because she wants you to eat the galbi, then
Yeah.
it's like it's a beautiful thing in its own way.
I think
At
so.
the same time, I kind of want my mom to eat with me, like
Yeah.
eat galbi with me.
Yeah.
Cause I like breaking bread with people. I like sharing. I think that's one of the images I'm
Not
getting.
galbi.
Galbi is so delicious. You don't want to share with anyone. We call this gluttony.
Yeah. But yeah.
Galbi, we should say, is a marinated rib,
Yeah.
thinly sliced, marinated in soy sauce and
Like pear, cream
pear.
pears.
Sometimes you put soda in there. Sometimes my mom puts
Yes.
soda in there.
Yeah, a little bit. It's to,
Sweeten it, yeah.
Sweeten it.
Garlic, onion. Oh, so good.
So
Salt,
very
pepper, yeah.
good. Yeah. But yeah, temperance. Going back to temperance.
Temperance, right. That's what we're talking about. After we
Yeah.
get our minds floating off into gluttonous ideas. Yeah,
Right.
temperance is desiring the right amount of anything, really. But
Right.
most properly, probably food. Because I think food is so essential. It's so obviously a good.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to deny that.
And there's so many delicious things.
So many delicious things. The Lord is so gracious in the way that He has created the world, that He has made
Right.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Cocoa, I should say, which we
Cocoa.
discovered and combined
Yeah.
into things to make chocolate. Or oranges. You ever
Oh,
pick
yeah.
an orange straight from the tree? By the way, I call it orange, not orange. I think here in New Jersey we say orange.
I think it's orange.
Yeah, me too. But everywhere else in the world,
South orange.
Yeah,
South orange.
some people say that.
Who?
Anyone not from Jersey, they all say orange.
I'm convinced that Jersey English is the truest English.
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
But wait, do you mean Southern Jersey?
No,
Including
no.
Central Jersey?
There's no
Not a real
Central
place,
Jersey.
okay.
There's only North and South Jersey.
In South Jersey.
The
it's so
truest
fun.
ways are of the North Jersey.
Yeah. Father Adam Chehesky, that goes to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vocations Director of Camden
It's-
Diocese.
Taylor ham is subs.
Yeah, right. Pies of pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oranges are delicious. The Lord made us oranges, and we thank Him for broccoli, but
It's not the best tasting.
it's good fiber,
Good fiber.
great fiber.
Goes well
Real
with
hearty.
other things.
Like Chinese food,
Or
beef and broccoli.
I don't know why they use broccoli. Like, where did they get the idea to just add broccoli to all the Chinese food?
I have no idea, but it's a thing, and I have a kind of a sentimental attachment to it.
Yeah, I mean, and like, there's like baked broccoli with cheese.
Ooh,
those
yeah.
are very
Mhm.
delicious.
Yeah.
Because of the cheese.
The Lord also created coconut cream pie.
Yes, and key lime pie.
Ooh, but you got to be in Florida for that. That's just so good down there.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
actually not a big fan of
And you got to try it down there. It's different.
any like citrusy.
Lemon meringues?
Pastries.
You don't like lemon meringue? Oh my
I don't. I don't think. Yeah, I don't like citrusy taste with
Oh, Christian's mother, never invite Deacon Jay over to your
With-
house.
with pastries.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I haven't had any good ones in my life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Once I eat that
Cream puffs? Yeah, cream puffs.
Yeah.
Profiteroles. I think
cream.
it's-
Why is cream puff? Is it citrusy?
No, I'm just naming things now that I like.
Oh.
Boston cream.
Oh yeah, those are all good.
Which is not a donut,
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way.
It is a donut.
No, I don't think so.
Why?
Did you read the thing I sent you about donuts?
Oh,
What, the
does it have a
sailor?
hole in the
Yeah,
middle?
because the story goes there's a sailor and he wanted a pastry. I don't know what he called it back then, but he was steering the ship and the ship was going crazy. So then he stuffed it onto the steering wheel, which has the little spokes coming
Yeah.
out. So you got a donut.
I would say Boston cream is a type of donut.
I think it's a daughter of donuts.
Yeah, it's a daughter of donuts.
It's a daughter. It's a source of the
Yeah.
daughter of gluttony
Yeah.
because it's not properly a donut.
So
Yeah.
gluttony is inordinate love for food.
We'll say affection. I don't like using
Affection.
the word. Well, I guess maybe.
Yeah, or like attachment.
Okay.
Yeah, inordinate attachment to food.
Yeah. Mhm.
Where you're not even hungry and you kind of want food.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about something like a wine tasting?
I think it promotes gluttony.
Why?
Uh,
I'm not talking about a college dorm drinking a 36 pack of Natty Lights.
You're like going into the vineyard in like California and trying different wines, taste it. Why? What do you think? That was my gut. That was my gut answer.
Yeah,
Thank
you for the.
I didn't really process it. I just like, okay, what's my first gut answer? I think it promotes gluttony.
Here's my gut response to that, and it's. I think that answer comes from a culture of gluttonous drinking.
Oh.
I think in Italy, when everyone's brought up, drinking a little bit of wine and they understand it, I don't think they have the desire to just down. I mean, I think they can drink way more than I can in a temperate sort of way. But I think, they're like, this is delicious. This is great. Oh, this is not so good. And I think there's an art to appreciating the flavors.
I think that's totally fine. But I think is there the desire to find like taste good wines, not to nourish yourself.
Yeah.
But to enjoy it, right? And but there's a little bit of a weird like as I'm talking about this, I can see like, well, that's a sort of like a leisure kind of thing, right? You're having leisure with using food or alcohol or drinks,
right?
So like in that sense, like, it could be good, but I'm not sure. Like, again, this is where temperance comes in. If you're just going on like wine tasting after wine tasting after wine tasting, then I would say you are being gluttonous because you're seeking the taste of wine, right? Like that enjoyment from tasting what different types of wines and right, and that's where your desire is. And I would say, well, that's not what.
But I think there's a beautiful thing when you're at dinner and you taste it and you say, "Oh, that went really well with my steak."
I think so.
I think there's a good and a beauty to that. And I think a wine tasting is that to a greater degree. It's saying,
but you wouldn't go wine tasting after wine tasting after wine tasting.
Right? Yeah, sure. I don't want.
That's why I say it can become. But with temperance, right? That's what, if you have just right amount of leisure, just right amount of enjoyment, of drinking delicious different types of wines, then I think that's when it becomes properly leisure.
Interesting idea.
Yeah.
Of the proper, just the right amount of leisure. Yeah. Funny. I haven't put it in those words before.
Yeah.
Do I want to say that there's a proper amount of contemplation and receiving of the Lord's love, which is, I would say, the ultimate form of leisure?
I think if it goes against your vocation.
But that's not a question of amount.
But if you are a mother, or if you're a father, and you're contemplating over the responsibilities you have as a father or mother, right? Then I think that's your right. What contemplation was supposed to do is, right, nourish you, right, rejuvenate you with the love.
I'm saying that's not what it is. I'm saying contemplation is not that not that.
Yeah, but like you can't constantly contemplate and
fair enough.
not take care of your children.
No, of course
you can't constantly contemplate and not go to work.
Sure.
Right? Because you have the responsibility by your vocation to live out your vocation.
Yeah.
And the leisure, there can be overdone of any kind of leisure.
Sure.
Even contemplation. Contemplation is great. Like it's the most beautiful thing as a man can do, right? A human can do. I would say, right? Because this is God giving you this.
But I guess you're looking at it in terms of the time of contemplation. I guess I'm not looking at it in terms of that, because I guess when I think of gluttony, I don't think about the amount of time I'm drinking. I'm thinking of how much I drink.
I think there's a set amount. It's something that you kind of can measure, in whether it's
In a quantity, you're right.
yeah, whether it's in time or amount or.
But I'm saying time. I don't want to look at it in terms of time, because contemplation. Yes, you have to restrict it in time because you have other obligations that you're called to do. But contemplation, in its like the quantity of alcohol you drink, I'm trying to compare with the quantity of contemplation, because contemplation's proper object, highest object, is God.
Is leisure just time?
No, I'm saying it's not related to time.
Yeah. But I'm saying like, so back to wine tasting.
Yeah.
It's the amount of wine tasting you go to, versus. Like that's where the temperance comes in. Like, yeah, once or twice. I don't know. Actually, don't know like this the good amount of wine tasting that you should do in a year, right?
Yeah.
Right. But if you're going there constantly, then like, well, like, why are you going there? Like,
well, I think there's a motivation. We have a wine connoisseur who
but that's his job.
But I think
that's his profession.
It's tied to a delight, and I would say a good delight in that.
Right.
And I think whether it's your profession or not, you can learn to delight in something. You can, I really enjoy carpentry, so I'm going to study carpentry a lot, more than the average person. I think that's okay, because they find a particular passion.
But that's related to your vocation, I would say.
No, I'm saying like I'm a priest,
vocation.
But I really like carpentry. So on my off times, I make chairs or whatever it may be. I think I will probably spend more time than you, who really enjoys poetry. Writing poetry. So you will study Shakespeare a lot more, and I will study St. Joseph a lot more. Because he's a carpenter, and you don't like St. Joseph for some reason because you're a pagan.
Right.
And so, because the Lord has given me this particular passion, and we have to discern what are holy and good passions versus what I'm trying to fill my belly with nonsense and fill my mind with nonsense. And those things that are good, and they're good for me to, use my hands to make something. And if I want to get better, I need to study it more. I need to learn to it more. And I don't have to become a carpenter in order to enjoy carpentry. And if I want to be a wine connoisseur, I don't have to be it professionally, but I think I can gather a bunch of friends and we can have once a month wine tastings and really enjoy them in a wholesome way that promotes fraternity.
I think, but there's some other factors that are going into it.
Sure.
Like, right, it's the social thing, it's the environment thing, like the time, like who goes with you, right, and all those like aspects, few like combined together, it becomes a delightful experience.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're just going for there to taste wine, for the sake of drinking wine, like not even, I'm not sure. Going back to gluttony, right? Gluttony isn't about like delighting in food, because all food, like we eat, we want delicious food, right? Like, and that brings us delight. Right? It's that when we are overly fixated on that delight, we're right. So like, so I think because we've been talking about like, oh, what if the wine tastes good? Like, it goes well with the steak. Yeah, those are all good things. Yeah, and that doesn't make it gluttonous,
right? Because
you're eating delicious food,
right?
That's not what gluttony is, right? Is seeking to eat, or constantly seeking food, or like having abundance of it, or not having, or lack of it, right? Or not eating too much of it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think it's just disordered affection for something. It's good to delight in things, but it's not good to delight in it so much that your whole world revolves around it.
Right. And
it becomes what was the thing what did we talk about last week? I just remember saying this.
It becomes an idol.
It becomes an idol.
Yeah. Right. Like good tasting food becomes your idol.
Yeah.
Right. And in wine tasting, not necessarily, I would say.
Right.
It's not gluttonous.
I don't think it has to be.
I don't think it, yeah. I think it, in its purest form, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just another way of delighting in the good things that the Lord has given us.
Yeah.
but it can be gluttonous
Sure.
like other things. Yeah.
A man, Thomas Aquinas, says vices. So gluttony consists properly in an immoderate pleasure in eating and drinking.
Okay.
Wherefore those vices are reckoned among the daughters of gluttony, which are the results of eating and drinking immoderately. So he kind of divides it by things that relate to the soul and things that relate to the body. And in the soul, there's all these divisions. So as regards the reason, if you eat or drink too much, you get a dullness of your reason, dullness of sense in the understanding. So that's one of the bad effects of it. So yeah, anyone that's ever eaten too much, you just want to go to sleep.
Yeah, food
right?
coma.
Food coma. There's also steak sweats.
I believe so. You guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful here, because then he says, even so, on the other hand, abstinence conduces to the penetrating power of wisdom. I think there's something very powerful behind that. I think there's why the monks and the hermits and the desert fathers of old all promote fasting. Why Jesus himself promotes fasting, because in the end it allows for wisdom to penetrate more deeply into our lives.
And it's kind of cool to see. Like, I think there's more and more actual like scientific studies being done on how the mind is like, or how, like the psychology of like the effects of fasting physically and psychologically, and those all have positive benefits. And like 2,000 years ago, or not even, I mean, most of other religions also say fasting, but like Christians from the beginning is like, you gotta fast.
Everyone says fasting is good.
I know a priest. He was also Franciscan. He was a Franciscan, and then he said, yeah, like the weird thing about fasting is like, the first time you fast, like there's a amount where at first you're just always hungry, so you're thinking about food, but you reach a point where you're so hungry that like no other thought, like all your thought process kind of appetites die down, and even eventually hunger dies down. So what you have is the clear mindset. And he said like that was one of the best time.
Yeah, I've heard similar things.
Like
and from secular people, I've heard the same thing too.
So it's like, whoa.
Fasting and abstinence are good. So then that was the reason. Then there are what they call the appetites. Unseemly joy is reckoned. So this is a result. Maybe this is when you just get really friendly. Maybe that's more proper to what you were talking about earlier.
Right.
Very friendly. Okay. Third, then it talks about, so there was the reason, there were the appetites, and then there are the words. So then what happens is you get inordinate words. So you just speak a ton.
Yeah, slur or
just talkative. Just talk.
Yeah, gregarious.
Yeah, and then he quotes St. Gregory, who says, "Unless gluttons were carried away by immoderate speech, that rich man who is stated to have feasted sumptuously every day would not have been so tortured in his tongue." Oh, isn't that funny? That the rich man who had all the sumptuous food, when he's in hell, what he asks for is a drop of water on his tongue.
Oh.
He's not given it. Yeah. Interesting. Well, Jesus.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
he pointed that out.
Yeah. And then there is the last thing. So it was reason, appetites, words, and now actions. There's just inordinate actions. In this way, we have scurrility.
Yeah.
A kind of levity resulting from the lack of reason.
This all seems like...
which is unable not only to bridle the speech, but also to restrain outward behavior. So then you just do stupid things.
I think, like, first thing, like, the reason, I understand for both food and drinks. But it seems like all of the Daughters of Drink is heavily focused on drinks.
Daughters of Gluttony?
Yeah, Daughters of Gluttony is focused on drinks.
Sure.
The immoderate pleasure that seems that Thomas is kind of focusing on are all mostly effects of drinks.
I can see that.
Rather than food.
Yeah.
Right? Because what kind of food makes you buffoonish? Or I guess like if
sugar high?
I guess so, or like spicy. Like if you have a...
Really?
If...
buffoonery?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, spicy... Having a... I don't... Like, overly spicy food. right? People kind of start to sweat. They try, they go crazy. I mean, it's like a sensation right now, like eating hot food challenges. I think that's a daughter of gluttony, because it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
give
could
you,
do it.
it doesn't give you, it's not good tasting because it's actually burning you.
It's probably pride. Like, I gotta outdo this other guy in eating this hot pepper.
But everybody's doing it,
Everyone's trying to outdo one another
and I think,
or keep up. It's like peer pressure.
yeah, but I think it's a form of gluttony there, because that's a
Depends on the motivation. Why
Yeah.
someone's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does munching?
It's the immoderate pleasure that comes from food.
But it seems like it's not from the food itself, but from being with the other people and saying, "Oh man, you did it!" Like, I've had dares where I say, "Here, eat this hot pepper whole," and they're like, "All right, I'm doing it." And it's nothing to do with the food. Like, the drink we had, not about taste at all.
No.
There's no desire
Oh,
for that.
it was purposely bad tasting.
Yeah.
Because we don't want it.
We didn't want it at all.
Yeah.
But we did it anyway.
Yeah. So
But-
I don't know.
Anyway.
It seems like
So the antidote for gluttony is temperance. It is looking at these cookies and saying, I'm going to hold off.
yeah.
I'm not going to attack them.
Yeah. Or I'll just have I'll just have two, not the whole box.
If you eat the entire box in one sitting, there's probably a little bit of gluttony going
Yeah.
on. But the thing is, the companies make the food like that. They're made to be addictive.
Yeah, but I think that's where that's why I mean, usually vices are so much easier to develop than virtues.
Oh yeah.
Because they just are naturally more appealing, I would say, or it's the pleasure that comes from vices or like immense that it just kind of really it's easy to just always go back to, and it's
Yeah.
easy to do, but that's why virtues likewise has to be always practiced.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, like these Girl Scout cookie companies, Coke companies, make the food addictive. Where if you drink once, you want to drink it again, right? You start to salivate thinking about those kind of things. But that's why God gave us intellect and reason, where we can order our appetite, our desires correctly, right? So we don't act like animals. Where I am salivating, thinking about food, I'm gonna have food. I just start eating food, that kind of thing. Right? We can say no, like it's a good sign. It's a sign that like my body's working. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can really control the body's reaction to food.
Yeah.
Because you smell.
If you
Delicious
start food, and then you're gonna salivate, and it's like, oh, my body's working properly. I smell good things,
Yeah.
therefore I want it.
And the body seeks after it.
Yeah, but that's where our intellect and reason comes in, where we can say, but I'm not gonna have it yet, because I'm not hungry.
I don't need that much.
Yeah, I don't need it that right now.
Yeah. I need more.
Yeah.
Is another one.
And I think in that sense, when we actually live out our lives that way, that's when we can start really live like a human person. That's when we're truly human. When our reason, where our physical appetite or desires are ordered under, or ruled by our reason.
Reason governs the appetites.
Yeah.
It's not the appetites govern the reason.
Yeah.
Which is.
And
scary.
that is
That's when. When the appetites govern, then we have become animals.
Yeah. But when reason governs, we're being truly human.
They're human. Yeah.
And we can use that is through our reason we glorify God.
And when are we most human? When we let the Holy Spirit guide our reason.
Oh yeah. There's always stuff further, yeah, I think, with the Holy Spirit.
I'd say that's the only real way to be human.
Yeah. That's what Jesus wants us to be.
What would Jesus want or do?
I think it's not even like I'm not hungry yet, so I'm not gonna eat yet. It's like
I am hungry.
yeah, I am hungry, but like for sake of loving God, and I want to offer this up to God.
I want to be like Jesus on the cross.
Yeah, so I'm gonna withhold myself from these pleasures as well, because I'm willing to give the pleasure from having food, if I could love God more.
And that's noble in and of itself, though very dangerous because pride becomes an issue. And
Yeah.
that's another topic because we think, oh yeah, I'm going to take on all these penances and mortifications, but it's not the time for us because we're actually not spiritually mature enough to do them. Hence, why if anyone really wants to consider doing these things, find a spiritual director and do not hide anything from the spiritual director. Bring these things up, and if the spiritual director says, okay, yeah, I think this is good for you, I think it's good for your soul, and I think it's good for the salvation of souls in purgatory and those around you, then go 100%, 110%, become a saint for the rest of us. And then, well, the rest of us will try to get to the human level, merely human level of virtue.
Yeah.
And you can lift the rest of us up with your divine levels.
Right. Yeah, gluttony. Be temperate.
Be temperate.
Yeah, that is
Eat more celery.
Just celery. No peanut butter, no raisins. Just.
Oh, what's that? Ants on a branch or something like that. You have the celery stick. You put peanut butter and raisins. It looks like
is
little
that
ants.
actually
It's called something? Yeah, ants something.
Why is that's not even appealing? The name of the food. Like who wants?
It just looks like ants. It's adorable. It's like a cartoon bug. You ever see the movie An Ant's Life? Or Bugs?
Bugs Life. And there's Bugs Life and there's Ants.
Oh, maybe I mixed those up. Okay.
Ants was kind of scary.
Scary?
Yeah.
Like Bambi? Or that's sad? What's scary? Dumbo?
Dumbo was
a little freaky.
Yeah. Bambi was kind of sad. Ants. Because there's a scene where they go out to war.
Again.
So it's a work ant.
Yeah, I saw that a long time ago.
Who wants to be more important.
Yeah. And
his best friend is like the soldier ant, and just jacked and buffed, and they switch places. I think for some reason.
Okay.
And then they go out to a war, and they're fighting this gigantic like
wasp or something.
No, like larva kind of. And it's like
larva.
Yeah, they're like.
Do we have those in our fields here?
They're like this big. Like ants are this big, and the larva is like this big, and it's just like destroying everyone. And he like just gets freaked out, and I was like, "Whoa, this is pretty heavy for a kids movie." Anyway,
what'd you say? Wasps versus bees?
Oh yeah,
the wasp is so much bigger,
so much more powerful, and they can't kill the bees. Can't kill the wasp with their stingers or anything like that. So what they do is hundreds of bees surround the wasp and go on the wasp, and they start vibrating, and that causes heat and kills them. But it takes hundreds of bees to do that.
Yeah.
So hundreds of bees die in process.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Imagine if we did that with humans. That'd be terrible war tactics, right?
Yeah, that would be just the fact that thinking
Make
about like
sure
hundreds of guys just vibrating. How would they vibrate to cause enough heat?
I guess I was thinking more of the self-sacrificial aspect of things.
Yeah.
I guess the last topic we need to bring up for temperance is the idea of hilarity. Getting to the point of hilarity. It's the idea of drinking. And I think it's important because I don't want to demonize alcohol. Jesus changed water into wine. He uses wine as his symbol, as the means for which we receive the body, blood, soul, and divinity. And I don't want to say alcohol is bad. I think it's a very good, but very easily abused. I say the same thing with bread, right? Nowadays, everything has bread in it, and so it becomes a source of just over carb loading on every meal. You know?
I love bread.
It's delicious. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but there is moderation that is necessary.
Definitely.
And same thing with alcohol. That there's this idea of hilarity. There's a point where it does loosen you up, you know? And it removes barriers in conversation and fraternity, and I think that's a good thing. But when it gets beyond that point, when you get to a little bit drunk, that's when it can become dangerous and sinful, I'd say. And I think if you're in the safety of your own home, you're not driving out anywhere, and you're going to have a drink, or however much, like for me, I can't have a lot. And I fully admit it, I'm Asian. With the ALDH2-STAR2 mutation of the enzyme, that's okay.
What?
A lot of Asians have Okay, there are two enzymes that break down alcohol. One is aldehyde dehydrogenase. That's the first one.
Of course.
And the second one is acetaldehyde dehydrogenase.
I
So you
believe
go
so.
from alcohol to acetaldehyde by that first enzyme. We're fine with that. But then acetaldehyde goes to acetic acid by the second enzyme. Acetic acid is vinegar. But a lot of Asians have a deficiency in that second enzyme, which causes a buildup of acetaldehyde, which is way more toxic than regular alcohol, which manifests as the red flush, and we get tired, and we get all these different symptoms. And so I will never become an alcoholic because when I get to a certain point, I don't want to drink anymore. It's uncomfortable.
It feels bad. Like,
Yeah.
physically you feel bad.
Yeah, it's so when actual alcoholics, they will give them something that will act like that enzyme inhibitor. So they will get the same symptoms that I get when I drink. So it'll help them stop drinking, becoming an alcoholic.
I don't think I have that deficiency.
I don't think you do. If you have a different outcome when you drink alcohol than I do, and that's fine. I think you can enjoy alcohol in a way I can't, but you have a greater danger of becoming an alcoholic than I do. I think it's true. Yeah. So don't do it.
Wait. It's conclusion that
Conclusion.
Watch out, Deacon J might be coming on.
The conclusion is that I have the benefit of never becoming an alcoholic, but I don't get to enjoy alcohol the way you do.
I think
you get to enjoy alcohol in a way I can't, but you have a danger.
You're right. But that's where the temperance comes in.
Temperance is so important for you.
Yeah,
more
if
than
I
for me.
and if I don't have that temperance of I know it's like okay, just 2 beers is good for me.
Yeah.
Then no matter what,
Yeah.
like then I can really enjoy the time that I'm drinking with my friends or families or others around me, and I can enjoy the drinking itself as well, and everything that I'm enjoying, then I can direct it towards God, right? But if I don't have that temperance, well, 1 drink leads to 2 drinks, 2 drinks lead to the 3rd, 4th, 5th. Like, when do you stop?
And then you end up under a bridge. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard the stories, and it's really scary. There was someone I was talking to, and she said, "Yeah, you can tell the story anytime." She said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. This alcoholic said, "Here's the crazy thing. What was really insane was that I knew what was going to happen, and I did it anyway." And she would find herself in some alleyway every time, and she would keep doing it nevertheless because this is an addiction, a physical biological addiction, which is a different thing than what we're talking about here. But scary, yeah. And so that 1 drink becoming 2 drinks, becoming 3 drinks, and you end up in an alley somewhere. That's scary, and that's probably like one of the worst case scenarios. Who knows what you end up doing when you're in the drunken stupor, and why food and drink, and I guess more especially alcohol, is dangerous. And I think we all have heard the stories. We all know the truth and validity behind this, and hence why we need more temperate people in the world, people who are aimed towards virtue. And we said in an early episode that sin, in the original language, has the idea of missing the mark. Yeah. So sin is going there. And Deacon said there's so many ways to mess up. There's so many ways to sin. There's so many ways to be vicious, to have vices, but there's only one place to aim for virtue, right? And that's down the middle. And so it's much more, in some sense, difficult to be virtuous, and yet when someone is virtuous, they are then most truly free. They are not worrying about, they're not shackled to food. They're not shackled to money. They're not shackled to these things, and they use them in the proper amount that is best for them and those around them. And that's virtue. That's what we're trying to promote with these Worthy and Wicked Wednesday episodes. We're going through right now all the 7 vices.
And hopefully all of the virtues as well.
Yeah, over time. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But until then, any other last thoughts?
No.
Celery?
No, definitely not.
Vicious! Picky!
I don't think we have celery, that's why.
Oh, man. Yeah. Maybe that'll be our next, if you make a mistake, you say you have to eat a bite of celery.
I will eat celery. I will just say if if there's choices of food, why choose celery? Like and even in the choices among vegetables, why choose celery?
Because then you can have little ants, crawling on top of it.
I'm not a big fan of peanut butter. Oh, I'm just
Ants on a branch? I don't know. I can't think of it.
ants on a stick.
Maybe. Ants on a stick?
Cause celery stick.
Oh, I see. I like ants on a branch. It just sounds better. Ants on a branch. Like the A is kind of similar. And there's an N on both of those. Ants, branch.
Maybe you're the poet.
And you're the carpenter?
Sure.
Oh, we need to. Okay, anyway. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts or discussion topics,
Please email us.
if you like making food,
Let us know.
favorite recipes.
Yeah, favorite recipes.
Yeah, things that you think we would be able to actually
We've
do.
been trying a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. So until then, thank you very much for joining us. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
Bye.
Cutting that out.